Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and Olight has got a new light. They've got several new lights out. I happen to have one of them here, but I also have one from last time they released some lights. I was out of town, but I went ahead and got this anyway. This is a Olight Seeker 4, and it's got a lot of EDC potential, but also law enforcement. It's a fairly wide beam, kind of more of a floodlight versus, say, a thrower. And it has an ultraviolet light built in. So on the top end, as far as white light coming out of this thing, you can get about 1200 lumens. And it is running a customized 18350 lithium, rechargeable lithium battery, and they're using the standard Olight connector on the back. Anyway, it also has a high of 600, medium of 1200, and a low of 15 lumens, and the 2 lumen moonlight. But if I double click this, I can get into what makes this different. This is a very powerful ultraviolet light at 365 nanometers, so deep into purple, and it has, in fact, if you let it run over your hand, you can really feel the heat coming off of this thing. It's got a pretty good beam spread, so I'm going to bring out my little tester here. You can just see how fast, this discolors the UV sensitive material here. You can paint it up, and at a distance. Kind of neat to play with on this kind of a frisbee here. But anyway, that is the Seeker 4. We'll go outside in a moment and look at it, but first let's take a look at this one. This is the Warrior Mini 3. Now here's the Warrior Mini 2. So the 3 is actually a little bit shorter. The 3 can give up to 1750 lumens. You can see they've modified some things on it. You've got the reversal of the pocket clip. It has a proximity sensor like the earlier one, but it is a different design. One of the things that people were concerned about is if they were trying to do something, they were getting close and trying to use the bright setting, it would dim down on its own. Well, what they've got here is an auto proximity sensor, and what it allows this to do is sense. Did you see that flash down? It turned on and then automatically powered down because it sensed it right away. However, if I go to the full turbo and then bring my hand in, I can keep that super bright light on. So they're trying to get the best of both worlds. So if this is laying down or in a pocket or something like that and it fires up, it'll immediately step down. You can see that. Oops, get it going. But if you want that full bright light up close, you can essentially override the proximity sensor by turning it on with some open space and then allowing it like this. Come up here. You see that it's toning down on its own. But if I fire it up there and then get it on, I can hold that max setting. Another feature is they've worked out a better arrangement here. Obviously, if you've got a powerful magnet on their charging ports, you can end up attracting, say iron filings, dirt, things like that. So what they've done is they've updated that, and they have made this kind of a newer designed plate that does not, it's still magnetic. It's got a slight depression in there because this is also a tail cap, but it doesn't attract the iron filings or the metal shavings the same way, so it doesn't get as dirty, and it's much easier to clean off because you can see just how, line that up, just how smooth that is. Come on, pick it up. There we go. How that works compared to, these gigantic, deeply recessed components that actually become a little bit tougher to clean. So Olight is paying attention to that. Here we are outside with the Seeker 4. This is kind of an unusual light, especially with the UV. That's the UV. I'm going to actually come back to that. Let's go through the other lighting settings. So I'm just going throttling up through the settings. You can see it's got a fairly bright front end, fairly uniform, but not a huge throw. Again, and I'm pointing that farther out. Probably should point it more down. But anyway, it has a nice, clean, bright light. Lights up an area quite well. The UV is actually kind of fascinating here, especially the way my camera's looking at it. So here's the UV. The way that's turned on, camera's making some adjustments, but it's a very narrow, pointed source. Anyway, this is going to be the Warrior Mini 3 up first, and you can see it's got quite a bit of throw. You know, I'm reaching out to the top of that tree, across the road. It's got a pretty big, or pretty noticeable hot spot in the center, but a nice smooth diffusion out to that area lighting. You don't have the black area, black spots like the old spotlights do. Pretty cool. With that, Doc out.